Warm greetings from Pratibha College of Commerce and Computer Studies, Chinchwad, Pune. In today's era, everything is considered as data and representation of this data, representation, analysis, everything will comes in picture in various sectors are there. So to keep in mind with the same, Kamla Education Society's Pratibha College of Commerce and Computer Studies, Chinchwad, Pune organizes recent trends in IT, a course in under which there are different variations of the modules are there, and under this module assistant professor Dipali Mahajan want to focus on R programming model is there. So let us start with the R programming models. So first we will start with our course, that is recent trends in IT. Under the module R programming, I will highlight the prerequisites of the learning of the R programming are there. So we will know that whatever this R programming course is there, that I have designed it for the beginner, keep the beginners in mind is there. So as the beginners are there, no prior computer programming skill is required. A good understanding of any programming language if you are having, so it will be help you to easily understand the R programming and quickly. Real world scenario, that is the objective of one of the R programming is there, which will familiarize the participants with R syntax, understand the concept of object and assignment of the R programming, understanding the concept of vectors, various data types of the R programming, also get exposed with a few functions which are useful in the statistical order are there. So the outline of this training course is that first we will go through the overview or an introduction of R programming. Then we will have an introduction of variable types, data structure which are based on R, getting data into the R environment with read R, that is one of the function is there. Data frame manipulation with deploy R, handling dates in R using the lubricates, exploratory data analysis, working with text data, control for functions of the R programming. In depth we are going to study applying the functions across various dimensions, that we are going to study graphics in R overview, advanced R graphics with the help of ggplot2, inferential statistic, general linear regression models also we are going to see, and at the end we will conclude the respected R programming training course. So the course description I want to highlight that in this course, you will learn how to program R, how to use R for effective data analysis. You will learn how to install and configure software necessary for statistical programming environment. Discuss the generic programming language concepts as they are implemented in a high-level statistical language. The course covers practical issues which will come in statistical computing, which will include the programming in R, reading the data into R, accessing the packages of R, writing R functions, debugging, and etc. The topics in statistical data analysis and optimization will provide working examples under this course. So let us start with today. So today's agenda is that we are going to learn what is R, why to learn this R programming, what are the applications of R programming, in which sectors real life this R language is used, companies which are going to use this R, what are the job roles inside the R, how to install R, introduction to R syntax, R comments, R variables, and R data types. So let us start with what is R. So whatever the R is there, R is a programming language as well as it is a software environment. R is oftenly used in a statistical computing, graphical representation to analyze and visualize data and reporting. R is the best tool for software programmers, statisticians, and data miners to manipulate easily the data and also to present the data in a compiled way. R was the first created and developed by Ross and Robert Gentleman at the University of Auckland, New Zealand in 1993. And now R development core team is responsible to developing the R programming. R is one of the most popular language in the world of data science. It is heavily used for the analysis of the data. Whether the data is structured or unstructured, it doesn't matter. This has made the R the standard language and performing statistical operations. R also allow the various features that set it apart from other data science languages. In this course, you will get an idea why you must learn the R and how it will benefit you in the domain of data science. So why we are going to use this R? So it is a great resource for data analysis, data visualization, data science, and machine learning. It provides many statistical techniques like statistical tests, classification, clustering, data reduction. Also, it is helpful to draw the graphs like pie chart, histogram, box plots, scatter plot, and etc. Also, our program is working on different platforms like Windows, Mac, Linux, and etc. The R programming is open source and free. In next scenario, we are going to see that what is actually the open source and free meaning. It has large community support. It has many packages. The libraries are vastly developed in R system, which are useful for solving the different problems are there. This is one of the picture which will explain you that why the R is there. So very first is that it is free and open source. Means the R programming is easily freely available on the internet. You can download it and use it. Open source tool means what? Whatever the packages inside your R system are there, according to your need, you can modify it and openly develop them and use them. There are large community users are using this R programming, so you need to learn that. Latest cutting edge technology, whatever the latest technologies are there, they are mostly using this R system. So that's why there is a R. It is platform independent on any operating system. You can use this particular R programming easily. Gateway to lucrative career. If you have a bright career, then you can have a gateway of R programming so that you can easily enter into the career paths. Has a robust visualization library. The library of the R programming is very efficiently developed so that with the help of that library, you can solve various problems are there. Go to the language for stat and data science. If you want to go in the statistical languages or data science is there, then there is a option that is a R programming is there. It is almost used by every industry, so you can go with the R is there. Now, as very first from starting, I am saying it is used in data science, data science. So what is this importance of data science is there? Why this R is important? So R is going to play a very important role in data science. Now, why? So whatever the code of your R programming are there that you can run without any compiler. Now, what is this compiler? So whenever the humans are interacting with the machines or computers, they will require some translator. As whenever the two persons of different languages are communicating, they will require some translator. The similar way, the translator, and that translator is called as a compiler. So here the R programming does not require any kind of translator. It is an interpreted language. Hence, whatever the code you are going to run without any compiler is there. R interprets the code and makes the development of the code very easy. Many calculations done with vectors. Vectors is again one concept which will comes in later chapters. So R is a vector language also we can say that. So we can add any function inside your R programming language, and with the help of without putting inside a loop, you can use this particular R as a powerful language. Statistical language, R is used in biology, genetics, as well as it will be very much used in the statistical sectors are there. R is a turning complete language where any type of task can be performed. The next is R also used in businesses. It is good for business. Now, whatever the R is programming language, so it cannot be used only in technical sector, but also it will great help in your businesses are there. As R is open source, easily you can modify and redistribute as per the user's needs, so it will be useful in your business. It is great visualization and has far more capabilities compared to other tools. For data driven business, wherever the data actually matters for the business, that time the lack of data scientists is a huge concern. So companies are using R programming as their core platform, and recurring trend with R programmers are there. Data driven means everywhere the data is matters for the business, that time it will be the bright future. R is a gateway of lucrative career, as R is a language which is extensively in data science. So this data science field is giving you the highly paying job in the world today. I have given some example. Data scientists who are proficient in R can make more than some of the dollars are there, and you can see that what a huge figure it is on an average per year. If you want to enter the field of data science and learn the lucrative salary, then you must definitely having the R is there. Open source, as R is an open source language is there. It can be maintained by a community of active users are there, which are available. The R for freely is there. You can easily verify or modify various functions in R and make your own packages. Since R is issued under the general public licenses, that is GNU, there is no restriction on the uses of the R is there. As all of us know that whatever the license versions are there, they are having some limitations and restrictions while using them. So as R is a open source is there are no restrictions on the uses of your R is there. The popularity, as we know that the R become most of the popular programming language in the industries. Conventionally, R is mostly used in academia, but with the help of emergence of data science, the need of R in the industries become evident. R is used by Facebook as a social networking site, which is using the R for the analysis purpose. It is being used by Twitter for the semantic analysis as well as for the visualization purpose. The robust visualization of library, that is there are different libraries, that is ggplot and etc. They are responsible to visualize the robust applications are there. With R, you can also develop the amazing web apps are there, that will be web applications you can develop with the help of R. Now we will move to the applications of the R. There are various applications I have mentioned here, that is banking, finance, e-commerce, social media and healthcare. There are much more, but few of them I have listed here. So in banking sector, where it will be used. So for the credit risk modeling and other forms of risk analytics in bank, the R programming is used. The bank make heavy uses of the mortgage haircut model that allows them to take over the property in case of loan defaults are there. So whatever the mortgage haircut model is there, that will be also using the respected R model is there. R is also used in conjunction with the Hadoop, which is one of the part of big data nowadays, to facilitate or analyze the customer's quality, customer segmentation and retention. The Bank of America use R for financial reporting is there. The next is the finance sector is there. In finance sector, whatever the stock market, predict the prices of shares and financial data mining, it will be useful. Also, it will be useful to perform the download risk measurement, adjust the risk performance, utilize the visualization like candlestick chart, density plot, drop down plots, which will be helpful for the financial sectors are there. The next sector is the e-commerce is there. As we know that whatever the businesses nowadays are there, they are highly affected by the e-commerce are there. So internet based companies which are having the businesses, they can deal with the various forms of data that may be structured and unstructured. And for analyze this particular data for cross selling their products, they are using the R system is there. In social media like Facebook and etc. websites are going to use to analyze the data, which will be with the help of the R system is there. The next is the healthcare. In healthcare sector, there are various applications, that is genetic, bioinformatics, drug discovery and etc. where the R programming is used. With the help of this R programming, they are using the drug discovery. Whenever the drug get discovered, the R is most widely used for performing the preclinical trials of that particular drug and analyzing the drug safety data. So in such a way that the applications of R programming are in various sectors are there. Now, as we know that the real life use cases, now I will show you some of the use cases where actually the R programming is going to use. So R applications are not enough until you don't know that which people and which companies are going to use these programming languages. So the very first come name, that will be the Facebook is there. The Facebook uses R to update the status and its social network graph. It is also used for predicting the colleagues' interactions with R. As all of us know that Facebook is always prompting you, some of the friend suggestions are there. So that status they are getting with the help of the R programming is there. Ford Motor Company, which will be relying on the Hadoop model of the big data, it also rely on R for the statistical. For the analysis purpose in Hadoop, they are using the R system is there. As the company is data driven company is there, so for making their decisions, they are analyzing that data, and that data will be get analyzed with the help of the R programming. The Google is also, which is going to use to calculate the ROI, that is nothing but the efficiency of online advertising. They are using the R system. Foursquare, it is a stack behind Foursquare from the recommendations of engine. They are using the R programming. John Deere, statisticians at John Deere use R for time series modeling and also for the reproducible way for their respected products. The Microsoft is also going to use the R system for the respected machine learning frameworks are there. Mozilla, it is one kind of browser is there which will also use the R system to visualize their web activities. The New York Times, one of the news agency, which is going to use the respected R system to crunch data and prepare the graphics before they are going for the printing is there. To crunch their respected data and prepare the graphics before printing, they are using the R system is there. The Thomas Cook is nothing but one kind of food thing is there, which will be going to use some fuzzy logic system with the help of R system to automate their price selling and last minute offers. They are going to use the R system. National Weather Services also going to use the R system to generate the graphics for the flood forecasting. Twitter also going to use the R system. Trula and ANZ Bank, which is one of the bank in Australia, which is going to use the R system to find out the credit risk analysis is there. Trula is responsible, that is a real estate is there, which will be using the R system for house prices and the local crime rates is there. These are some of the companies which I have mentioned, which are going to use R for the analytics. That is Novartis, Google, Accenture, Thomas Cook, Facebook, and etc. Much more are there. Few of them I have listed here. What are the job roles in programming with R programming? So in R programming, with the help of knowledge of R programming, you can work as a data scientist, you can work as a business analyst, you can work as a data analyst, you can work as a data visualization expert, or you can work as a quantitative analysis. So these are some of the options I have mentioned here. Now the summary out of all these things is what? So many brands use the R programming to design vehicles, monitors, user experience, weather prediction, and etc. So empire of R programming is increasing day by day. So many other sectors will be using the R for better results. So there are bright future in R programming. So let us start with our R programming module. So very first I want to start it with the how to install the R. So very first, as it is open source, as I have mentioned earlier, you can go on the respected site which I have mentioned in the slide. You can download the latest version of R, whatever the operating system you are going to use for your, that is Windows, Mac, or Linux is there. As soon as you are downloaded the R on your computer, you can run that R programming in your computer. I have given one screenshot where you can get that what is a environment of R programming. So this is an environment of R programming. It is just like a command prompt is there where you can type the respected code is there. If you are observe that here I have typed something here, that is 5 plus 5 is there, and it will be giving me the answer as 10 is there. Okay, so this is one kind of your terminal where you can run your respected R programs are there. Now we will start with R syntax. So as every language is having their own syntaxes are there. So we will see that how to output the text in R. So to output the text in R, text is nothing but string. You can say that we need to use single or double quotation is there. So whatever the text you want to output, you need to enclose it in a single or double quotation. For example, here I want to output hello world. So I have enclosed in double quotation. But whenever you want to output any number, so it should be without quotation is there. For example, if I want to output 5, 10, and 25, so there should not be any quote is there. I will show you what is the scenario where if you don't want to install R, you can use some of the online compilers also. So I have used one of the online compiler, that is W3, which compiler is provided by W3 schools is there. So you can see that here I have mentioned in double quotation hello world, that will be this is an output window, black color window, where the hello world will be get displayed. Then I want to output 5, so there should not be any code and it will be get outputted. Then 10 and 25 is there. The next is, if you want to do the simple calculations, for example, to adding the numbers are there. So I will just write down 5 plus 5. I have written here 5 plus 5. It will leads the answer as 10. This is your input window. This is your output window. Here I am going to type the code and here I am going to run that particular code. Just clicking on this run. This is an online compiler. Actually, whenever you are installing R system, the scenario will be whatever the window have mentioned previously. The next is R print. Other languages like C, Python and etc. they are having some print functions are there. So the R programming is also having the print function, but without print also you can print, just like the hello world. I have just enclosed it and it will be get printed. However, R does not have print function available. If you want, does have the print function available. If you want, you can use it. If you don't want, you can skip it. But just like your Python, if the Python language is there, they are compulsory using the print function to output the code. But this is not the case with R. You can use or you can ignore. If you want to use, you can just write the word that is print, then opening bracket and then closing bracket. It will be having the same scenario. Now, when we need to use this print, so whenever you are enclosing any code within the curly brackets, then it is suggested that you can use the print function is there. So there are times where you can use the print function. For example, here for is one kind of loop which is responsible to repeat the action. So here just I am trying to print 1 to 10 numbers. So here I am going to use the print is there. In output window, you can see that 1 to 10 numbers are get printed over here. So whenever any code which is enclosed in curly brackets, that time it is suggested that you can use the print rather than only using the X here. Okay. The next is conclusion. It is up to you that whether you are going to use print function in the output code or not. But mostly it is suggested that whenever it is a R expression means what? Anything which is enclosed in a respected curly bracket pair, that time it is considered as your R expression is there. And that time it is suggested that you need to use print to output the result is there. The next thing are comments are there. As the comments are nothing but which are the explain the respected R code or any language code is there. They are making your code more readable is there. So whenever you want to prevent any code from execution, you can write it down inside the comment is there. In R programming, the comments are starting with the hash symbol. Whenever you are executing the R code, R will ignore anything which is starting with your hash symbol. So hash symbol at the starting is considered as a comment is there. So here you can see the example hash. This is comment. So this statement is ignored by the respected R programming is there, and the hello world will be get printed. The same example, you can write down the comment on separate line or you can write down the comment at the end of any particular code. Here I have written the code at the end of the code is there. So this will be also manageable. The comments does not have text to explain the code. It also can be used to prevent some code for the execution. For example, here I don't want to execute good morning, but I want to run this good night is there. So what I have done, I have just put the hash symbol at the beginning of good morning, which is not going to execute. So output will be only the good night is there. Now there is one more concept, that is multi-line concept. If I want to give the comment rather than single line, I want to give the comment on more lines are there. So in other languages like C, there are various syntaxes for single line and multi-line. But in Java, there is no multi-line concept is there. So similar way, R is also not having any multi-line. Different syntax for the multi-line comment is there. But whatever the lines are there, each and every line, you need to give it with the help of the respected hash symbol is there. Whatever the line you want, you can mention it with the help of the hash symbol is there. So these three lines are considered as a comment and this will be actually running line is there. So it will print hello world on the screen. The next concept will come are variables. Now whenever you are working with any language and whenever you are working with R programming, everywhere the data is there. So we need to manipulate with the data. So whenever this data is there, we need to store these data values, and to store these data values there is a concept of variable. So we can say that variables are the containers for storing the data values. R does not have a command for declaring a variable. In other languages, every time whenever you want to use a variable, you need to declare it. But R is providing you non-declaration. Directly you can use the variables. So whenever the variable get created, whenever you are assigning a value to it. First time, whenever you are assigning a value to a variable, then it will be get created. To assign a value in variable, in our programming, this particular sign is useful is there. In other languages, they are using equal to sign. In R also we can use equal to, but we are not using equal to sign. It is not convenient over R programming. R is suggesting that use this particular sign to assign the values to variables. So whenever, for example, here I have given name. So name is one kind of variable. This is assignment operator, and John. So name is assigned with the value John. Age is assigned some value, that is a 40 is there. So here name and age is responsible to output John, and 40 is there. I will show you the window. See, here I have typed name and assign it value John. Here I have typed some variable age and assign it value 40. With the help of this name and age, it is responsible to print John, and 40 is there. So for here, the John is a value, 40 is a value, name and age are the variables are there. In other programming, as I mentioned that they are mostly using equal to sign. R also can use equal to and this, but we are preferably using this particular sign is there. We are forbidden this particular equal to sign is there. Now the next concept is concatenating the elements. The concatenation is nothing but joining the two or more elements are there. So here our programming also provides you the concatenate concept is there by using some function, and that is a paste function. To combine both text and a variable, R is going to use a comma operator is there. So for example, text. Here in text I have assigned some string, that is awesome. And with the help of paste function, I am going to join these values. How? R is, this is my respected variable. R is my text, and I am assigning a text. This is a variable. So I am joining them with the help of this comma is there. So expected output is R is awesome. Here also you can use both, assign them into the variable, and then you can concatenate it with the help of the paste function. This is also one way where the output is R is awesome. Whenever you are concatenating, the numerical operators are there. That time numerical values are there. We are using the plus character, which is actually leads you the addition of that particular two numbers. So here number 1 is having value 5, number 2 is having value 10. And if I am using the plus operator in between them, they are concatenating. Concatenating means they are performing the addition. Here plus is an arithmetic operator, and the expected output is a 15 is there. Now, if we are trying to combine the string and a number, so it is not allowed in R programming. If you are trying it, for example, number is having value 5, text is having some text. So if I am using plus operator in between them, it is a error over here generated, and that will be non-numeric argument to the binary operator. Such kind of error will be get generated. So the combination of string and number is not allowed inside this particular R is there. The next is multiple variables. If you want to assign a single value to more than one variable, it is allowed inside the R programming is there. So to assign the same value to multiple variables, just give the variable name, variable 2, variable 3, and give the value. And then you can print it with variable 1, variable 2, and variable 3. As all are assigned with a single value orange, so it will be printing variable 1 is printing orange, variable 2 is printing orange, and variable 3 is printing orange is there. The variable names. Now what are these variables? So variables are the containers to store the data. But while giving the names to variables, you need to follow some rules are there. So whatever these variables names are there, they may be the short names or they may be the more descriptive names. Short name just like A, B, X, Y, and etc. Descriptive names like age, name, salary, car name, total volume, etc. Class. So rules for variables of the R programming are there. The very first rule is that the variable name must start with a letter, and later on it may be the combination of letter, digit, periods, and underscore. In case you have period and underscore, periods and underscore, out of that no special symbol is allowed. If it starts with period, it cannot be followed by a digit. If you are starting the variable name with period, it is not allowed to follow by the digit is there. The variable name cannot be start with number or underscore. Always remember, in other languages it is allowing you to start with underscore, but here it doesn't allow you with number and underscore. Only starting with letter or period is allowed. Variable names are always case sensitive. Means, for example, if you are writing age, age and age, so all three are treated as differently. The reserved words, or you can say that keywords, cannot be used as variables. For example, the reserved words are nothing but the words which are used for the specific purpose by the respected language that you cannot use for the other purpose. For giving the name of the variables is there. Always remember that variable names in our programming are also case sensitive. So these are few of the examples where I have mentioned some variables which are legal and illegal are there. So the very first variable name, my variable, is legal as it is starting with letter. This is also legal, starting with letter, and underscore you can include. This is also legal as it is starting with letter, starting with letter, starting with letter. It is also legal, it is starting with period, but it is not followed by digit, so that's why it is also legal. Now, why this is illegal? It is starting with digit, which is not allowed in your R programming. It is using hyphen, that's why it is not allowed. It is using space, so that's why it is not allowed. It is using underscore at the starting, which is not allowed in the R programming, that's why it is illegal. Here they are using some character, that is a special character at the rate, so that's why it is not allowed. Here true is a reserved word, which is also not allowed, giving the name of the variable is there. Now we will move to the data types are there. As the data is important, we need to categorize that data, and to categorize that particular data, our programming provides to the data types are there. So variables can store the data with the help of different data types are there, and the data types are doing the things differently. So in R, variables do not need to be declared whenever you are going to use for particular data type, but whenever you are assigning the value to that data type, then it will be becomes the specific data type value. For example, here my variable I have assigned with the 30 value. So here the my variable work as a numeric data type. But on the next line, if I am assigning it with some string value, which is enclosed in double quotation Sally, so it will be work as a character is there. So R has a variety of data types and the object classes are there. So we will see that what is that variety. So basic data types we are going to see in the R is there, that will be divided into various kinds. Numeric, you can see the example 10.5, 55, 787. Integer, which is having some L is there mentioned, that L is declaring this is an integer is there. Complex, where the real and imaginary part is going to happen over there. So here the real part and the some imaginary part is there. The character data type or string data type, you can say that, which is always enclosed in a single or double quotation. Here some of the examples are there. If you are observe here the 11.5, it is actually the numeric, but as it is enclosed in double quotation, it will be treated as a character is there. The next is logical or Boolean, where the true and false kind of values are there. That data is considered as a logical or Boolean is there. To know the data type of any particular variable, the R programming provides you a function that is called as a class function. And this class function is responsible to know the data type is there. So you can see here, I have used the class function. It is a comment is there as it is starting with hash symbol. So I have assigned some numeric value to X and I want to know the data type of X. So I have used the class function, class in round bracket X. So it will give me that X is of the type numeric. Then on next line, I have assigned some new value and I want to know the data type of this class. So as L is there, it will be of type integer. Now I have assigned some complex value and I want to know the data type. So it will give me the complex. Now I have assigned some string value. R is exciting and I want to know the data type. So it leads me character. If I am assigning some true false value, that will becomes under logical and Boolean. So it will be my logical data type. I hope all of you are clear with some of the basic syntaxes, variables, and the basic data types or R programming is there. Thank you for listening me.